Through these halls, where lovers get lost and lust consumes the wicked, a place where reality collides with fantasy, in the pages where romance is second to none. Welcome to the Lover's Library.
Hey lovers!
I'm Carly.
I'm Sydney.
And I'm Zoe.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody!
I think this is our first recording with the official library complete.
Yeah. And it's been a couple of weeks. We haven't been on the podcast in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
Life has been life and hard.
Welcome to season 2.
Season 2! The unofficial opening for season 2.
Well, our first book for season 2 is The Trouble with Hating You by Sajni Patel.
Yeah.
So, what's the scoop? This is a impromptu What's the Scoop from Carly.
It was my job. I apologize.
Okay. So, Sajni is a freaking badass. I don't know if you guys read or saw this, but she used to be an MMA fighter.
The acknowledgments or whatever in the back. She's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, that's amazing. I freaking love that. But she lives in Austin and she loves going to football games. And just like me, she loves queso.
And Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
Me too, girl.
Says she's a diehard Marvel Comics fan, a lover of chocolates from around the world, and is always wrapped up in a story.
Period.
But she has a couple other books that I'm wanting to look into.
The next one?
Me too.
The next
I wanted to
one,
read that one.
for sure.
I might buy it.
That one is called, I had it on my list. Where'd it go? Well, I know one of them's called Knockout.
I can pull it up.
The Knockout, I have them both on my TBR. Was not prepared to do this. I apologize.
I just think that I would be good friends with her in real life.
Yeah.
She just sounds like one of those people.
Yeah.
And she sounds so like she has so many experiences in life and everything. And I like that she is putting her life experiences into what she's writing.
Yeah. The next book is First Love Take 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And then she has this other book called The Knockout, which I wanted to check out also.
I wanted to read My Sister's Big Fat Indian Wedding too.
Is that by her? I don't think. Oh.
Well, that's fun.
And Sleepless in Dubai. And so she's
Those are all by her. Wow.
She has a lot of books.
Yeah, so and the covers of these books are beautiful.
They
too.
are.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, the colors.
This one was so pretty.
Yeah.
I just know that the next one is going to be about Preeti,
Mm-hmm.
and I
It
want to
is.
read
It is.
so
It is
bad.
about
It
her.
is?
It
Okay.
is,
yeah.
I didn't look over it, but I want to know more about her.
Me too. And Sana, I think that's how you say her name. Sana.
I said Santa, but that's just because I am uncultured. So
Yeah. I think I said Cinna. I have no
watching
idea.
Hunger Games lately.
Well, The Trouble with Hating You is about a girl named Leah. She's a very powerful, educated woman, working her way through life, not
no
worried
crap.
about men, just worrying about becoming the best.
Mm-hmm.
And her parents have strong Indian beliefs, and they think she needs a husband and kids right now. And so they have set up a meeting for her to have kind of an arranged marriage with Mr. J. And when Leah finds out, she runs.
Literally.
Literally.
But
And
she
into
can't-
him.
She can't run far because she runs into him literally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
And then she continues to run into him in several other places. So,
Mhm.
Yes.
shall we get into it?
Lovers Quarrel.
Lovers Quarrel. Okay. I absolutely loved this book.
Me too. Me too. I will say in the middle, I stopped at about 53% on Kindle. Like, you know how it shows you your percentages.
Mhm.
And I think I was getting frustrated with her a lot towards the middle because I was like, girl, why are you fighting so hard? And then, so I needed to take a mental break because I was like, coming from the PTSD of our last book, I was just like, do I want to have another book that there's so much fight a part of it?
Oh, I don't think she put up much of a fight. honestly.
I think her fight was so internal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
But it
so
never
sad.
lasted long.
She
You
kept
know?
giving in to it.
Like, it
but then
was-
at the end, it was after that 53%, it was like, okay, it picked
Yeah.
back up.
Yeah.
It took me a while to like her.
Mhm.
And I think it's because, like, she just seemed so stubborn and annoying. But then
Mhm.
when you learn about her, then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
All right.
first thing I have was I said, first off, fuck her dad.
Oh,
No
my.
When he said
gosh.
all she's good for is to cook, clean, and make babies. I'm like, really?
Big hate for him.
Yeah.
Big hate.
And then,
Golly.
so she goes to her parents' house and they're like, oh, yeah, we're just having dinner, you know, casual dinner. And then she figures out that,
Which is so rude.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because even her dad was like, you need to, like, you don't look presentable.
yeah.
Sir, shut up.
Right.
I
was
feel
just
like
coming
that
to
was
have
in
dinner.
another book. Is that what you're going to wear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Golly.
Yeah.
No, from the get, especially at the end,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to physically jump into the book. And what did Preeti say? She was like, I want to like stab him in the neck.
Yeah.
And she was like, you want to have scalpels on those knuckles? and shit?"
Yeah.
But no, I mean, and then Makesh too. But also I was just like, how could you not, or how could you be so mean to your
Yeah.
daughter, your only
Mhm.
child, literally?
I was trying to like read more about the Indian culture and everything because there is so many things about it that are so different than like how I live my life.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to respect that more by knowing more about it when I was reading this book.
Mhm.
But even with all of the Indian cultures and traditions, the fact that her dad was such an asshole about
Yeah.
everything is
Well, they
Just
even
the
talk
worst.
about it in the book at one
Yeah.
point, about how, like, oh, so you're religious or whatever,
mhm.
but
Mhm.
you treat people like this, or you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a direct quote when we get to that part, but
yeah.
I just, he was
Yeah.
too much.
Out the gate. I was just like, dang.
But then when she found out that they were going to be having this dinner and that Jay was coming, and she freaked out and ran, I was horrified. I was like, oh my gosh, she just left?
yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm such a people pleaser
I wouldn't
that
have
I
left.
couldn't have done that.
No.
No.
me
Like,
either.
I would have sat there and suffered through it, and then like maybe told him privately, like, I am so sorry. Like, I did not know they were doing this. I'm not okay with this. Like, I didn't agree to it,
Yeah.
you know, but
I know.
no, I
would've
was just like,
cried.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But then I was dying when she ran right into
Straight
him.
into him.
yeah.
And he was so sweet and funny.
and gave her chocolate.
You
and
can
she's
see
immediately
how
like,
she
oh,
thinks
he's
a
a
little
player.
cocky, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's so funny.
Yeah.
And just he's like, here, do you want this sweet treat?
Yeah.
Right? I think she should have been like, yeah, and like took one and ate it right on top of him while she's like laying on him.
Yeah,
That would have fit her vibe.
Yeah.
I would have
Once
made
you
things
knew
a lot
her.
easier.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he was so patient with her. It just killed me how mean she was to him. Like, when she goes into work and figures out that he works at her work now,
Mhm. Yeah.
that he's the lawyer trying to help recover her company.
Mm-hmm.
But he was such a jackass to her.
Yeah. He
And
flipped
I
that
was like-
switch real quick.
I was like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh. But then he was in a suit, and I was like, okay, fine.
That is funny. But okay, did the office meeting happen before or after the at the Mandir?
I think it happened before because I had Mandir first,
Uh-huh.
and then I wrote that next, the
Yeah.
office part next, and then drew an arrow.
Okay.
So,
Let's jump into the Mandir part when they first, or when they thirdly meet
Yeah.
at the Mandir, because
yeah,
he was at they were having like a scrimmage basketball
just
game.
playing basketball with his
Yeah.
friends.
At first, I
then-
thought she didn't recognize him, but she was just being a brat.
Yeah. And then does he see her? It's been a minute since I read that first half. So
Yeah.
they
I
see
think-
each other and then they're just like rude
Mm-hmm.
and mean to each other. And all their friends are like, so this is
Yeah, you
awkward.
guys know each other?
Why do we keep running into things like this with you? Because that's just her vibe.
Yeah, she definitely was. It was funny because right before they ran into each other, Jay was asking them about her. He's like, hey, do you guys know this girl? Like, what is her deal?
Mm-hmm.
And it was Rowan that stood up for her and said that, no, she's really nice. And if she's mean to you, it's probably because you did something mean or offensive.
Everything that he said because he is such a good person. He's like, she is independent and strong-willed and like sticks up for herself. So she's not a terrible person. I really liked that.
Yeah. But then like she walks in and she's like, hey, fuckers, get out of here. She's like, we have this time now. Go on. Because they were getting ready to practice their dance for the wedding of Rowan and
Rima.
Rima.
That's what I said it. That's how I said it. Rima.
So I thought that was hilarious.
But she doesn't normally go to the Mandir because she's not religious and everyone there sucks.
Yeah, and
she's just uncomfortable. Everyone makes her out to be this like terrible person, and they stare at her like, what's the saying, like sweating like a whore in church?
Yeah.
Like,
that's
not
how they make
saying
her
that she
feel.
is a whore. I'm saying like that's how she feels when she goes in. That everyone is just like staring at her, and
they make her out to be such an evil person. And like my thing, not to get political or religious or anything, but if you think that somebody's a terrible person, they probably should be at church. So why are you trying to kick them out?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They need extra support.
And honestly, like all religions teach you to be loving and accepting of everyone.
Exactly.
And so it's like, you're not doing this right, man.
Yeah.
All they would do would like chat about her and gossip about her, and everybody was talking about how she was such a whore, and I was like, my God.
And they used that language exactly too. And you know,
they were like that to Preeti too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just awful to her. They were just it wasn't even like, it was all hate. It was just hatefulness. It wasn't even like they were ignoring her. Or they weren't including them because they thought they were nasty girls or whatever.
I mean, there's some girls that, you know, my grandparents are very Southern, so they'll be like, oh, well, we've heard that she's fast, which means like you're a little skanky.
Yeah.
But that's all they say.
Yeah.
They're like,
no,
just so you know. But they still invite you to church.
Right.
They'll even invite you to come over and eat afterwards.
Right. They are not even nice nasty.
No,
they're just nasty.
I have a quote here. They're like, this all the other women, they call them aunties. And so one of the aunties had came up and was talking to Preeti and Leah, and she said, such a shame, huh? My boy is your age. You would have made a good match. Too bad that it didn't work out. And then Leah says, well, Preeti is a doctor and your son a what? A business analyst? Oh no, auntie. That match would be too uneven. A son like yours would probably feel threatened and emasculated to have a wife who makes that much more money than him.
Period.
And I was like, yes, queen.
Yes.
Like,
she had the comebacks.
She did. I was like, everybody. Thank you. Yeah. And then at that same point, like that's when we meet Mukesh. And I was like, from the get-go, I was like, what happened?
Like, Mary Kill? We already know.
This guy is...
Oh, yeah. We need a disclaimer.
Yeah. Disclaimer for... Well, there is death of a parent, sexual assault.
Fire.
Yes.
Traumatic.
Pretty much just all of the things.
Yeah.
There's technically multiple assault.
Yeah.
Just... be prepared for that.
Child abuse.
I was not prepared for any of this. I did not read the trigger warnings.
Yeah, I was reading the house fire and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
depression, that kind of stuff. So if those are triggers for you, just know that coming in. It is kind of laced throughout the book, so it's not just like, well, boom.
And none of it is like super heavy and descriptive.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, regardless, if that bothers you,
this might not be the book for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we meet Mukesh and he's just like, you just get this vibe from him from the very beginning because we don't really know what happened, but you just get this vibe that he is like a bad guy.
Yeah.
And,
you get the ick immediately.
Yes.
Can I just say something really quick? I know that You guys have seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
A
Is
long
that who
time
you saw?
ago.
Claude Frollo.
The evil guy?
Yes, that's him. Because he was all rapey and creepy. That's him.
Yeah.
That's the only person I could think of this whole book.
He's all rapey and creepy.
That's the way to
Put
describe
that on a
somebody.
shirt.
No, don't. And don't give it to anybody.
Put it on a sticker. Oh my gosh. Well, so Jay, regardless of all these run-ins that he's had with Leah, he still stands up for her over and over and over.
So much.
And it's funny because Leah's like, everyone's mean to me, everyone hates me, everyone talks about me, no one would stand up for me. They'd all just, you know, go along with it. But this is when Jay is talking with his friends and he's really asking about Leah. He's like, oh, you know, and his friend Ravi's like, oh man, stay away from that girl. And he's like, why? And they're talking about how people can change and whatnot. And he says, Ravi says, easy girls don't change. And then Jay says, hey, Ravi, tell me, are you a virgin? Of course, man. I know my culture, my religion. Ah, you're a virgin because you're religious, which is fine. But then how can you be so hateful when the same religion tells you to be peaceable and kind to all? I was like, thank you, Jay.
I'm so
And
glad
I
you brought that
liked
part
it.
up.
He even said, like, I'm not a virgin, and they wouldn't say anything to me because I'm a guy.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
Yeah. I think that goes cross-culturally, though.
oh, yeah.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
For sure. But that was heavy in this book too,
Mhm.
because it is a big part of Indian culture, of what I know about Indian culture. You know, it's more of the purity kind of, you know.
Well,
just,
I think she kind of tapped into some of the, what's the word? I want to say like the stigmas.
No, yeah, I think you're the stereotypes.
Yeah, the stereotypes of it, of like the woman being very, very, very submissive and the
Her mom.
man being very dominant. And I think that she kind of, Sajni, like brought it to light that that's not how everyone is.
Yeah.
Like that's what you've heard and what you think. Or even when she talked about the arranged marriage parts, like she's like, no, like we don't force people to get married. The parents are just wanting what's best for their kids and suggesting it's up to the kids to decide if that's what they want or not.
Yeah.
You know, and that she mentioned that there's been a lot of these marriages that the parents have kind of set up and they ended up super happy.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, because Rima and Rohan, how are y'all pronouncing his name?
I said Rohan,
Yeah.
but I think it might be Rowan.
Rowan.
I have no idea.
Well, theirs was an arranged marriage, but they loved each other
Yeah.
after they got to know each other.
Yeah. They
And you
even
could
said,
tell.
like, the
Yeah.
connection can come later.
Yeah.
One more point in that time when they were all at Mandir together and running into each other, and this was like their ceremony time. Jay saw Leah's dad and actually mentioned that he felt bad for that poor man because of his daughter. I was like, oh my gosh.
You don't know anything.
You have no idea. The next part I have was the date with Mike.
Okay, let's get into it. I'm
Mike,
glad we're
man.
talking about it.
So Mike is a guy that works across the street from Leah, and she's run into him a few times. He's friends with some people in her office, and he's always hitting on her. And he's like, come on, let's go on a date. And she's always like, no. And then finally, she agreed to go on a date with him. Well, little did she know, this guy was a certified jackass.
Oh my gosh.
Literally.
I love how she handled it in some situations, but I also didn't like it in others.
Yeah. Agreed.
But I was like dying when they went to this fancy French restaurant, and he says, do you need help ordering? Do you need help understanding anything? She's like, no, thank you. He's like, have you ever had French food? Yes, when I was in France.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you. And then one of the other parts that I was like a red flag to me was how it's something you don't think about, but then when she said it, I was like, oh, like the sharing the food thing.
Yes.
She's like, he didn't even offer me any of his food. And then when his dessert came, I really wanted to try some of his, and he didn't offer to let me try any of it. And she was like, can I have some? And he like looked mortified that she was going to eat some of his stuff. And I was like, dude, like, you want to sleep with her and you're scared of her taking a bite of your food.
Right.
I think you're going to be swapping more than just like a little saliva off of a spoon.
Right.
Seriously? I was just like, okay, whatever. But then, so the date ends and they get in the car and they're heading back to his place. But when they
guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to punch him in the throat too.
I was like,
know.
what the heck?
Sometimes I think it is okay to punch people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was in this
Especially if
situation.
you know a lawyer.
Honestly,
She does.
I mean, yeah. So they get to the parking garage and he immediately like starts putting moves on her. And she's like, let's like go inside. What are we doing in the car? And he's like, no, let's stay in the car. And she sees that there's like a security camera like pointed right where they parked.
Creeps.
And so she's kind of, it's all clicking for her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, like you're being a fucking creep. I don't want to do this.
Parked where you didn't need to park.
Yeah, you won't take me inside. Like, no,
And
this
he
isn't
was
happening.
So rude.
Yeah,
And
he's
told her that she didn't deserve like apartment treatment because she wasn't girlfriend material.
yeah. He basically just wanted to have sex with her.
Yeah.
And but then he was acting like, well, I bought you that nice expensive dinner, so you owe me. Like, no, I don't owe you shit.
Yeah.
You could have taken me to Taco Bell.
You've
like,
been begging me for months to go on a date with you, sir.
yeah. But so she's like trying to get away and she's having some PTSD because she has been assaulted that we find out later.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out and she ends up slapping him.
She does.
And I was like, yes, girl. But at the same time, I think in my mind, like, I would have been out of that car so fast.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have had to slap him because I'm not going to negotiate with someone that makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, if you're uncomfortable, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
You don't stay around and try to fight. Like, no.
Not especially not a grown man.
Yeah. Like, I've had situations like that where I was like a teenager and an adult man like reached behind a car and like touched my leg. I was out of that fucking car so fast.
Yeah.
I was like, no. And then I stayed the fuck away from him for the rest of the time. Like, no, trust your gut, know your boundaries, and like,
and leave.
Because I was like, what if he, like, she even mentioned it later. She's like, he was like twice my size. Like, yeah, I can be mouthy and slap him, but if he really wanted to, like, he could have overpowered her and really hurt her.
And that's the thing. She did notice the weird things and like the red flags, but she was just gonna stay and argue with him.
Yeah.
So,
which is a running theme for her throughout the book.
Yeah.
Which I think was, in a way, sometimes my frustrating part with her. I was just like, stop talking.
Yeah.
You're digging yourself into this stubborn hole that you're not going to find your way out of. And it's just hurting you in the grand scheme of things. And so I liked her, but it did take me a minute to actually start liking her.
I wanted to be like, just shut up.
Yeah.
If you don't like something, just walk away.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
If you have nothing to say, if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say it at
anything
all. And she always said something.
Okay, I have that problem a little bit.
So Carly, if you don't have anything nice to say,
I can't help it. It just comes out.
That's what she said. She was like, sometimes I was just saying something and then realized I was saying it.
and here we are.
That's me.
So she escapes. She gets out of the car after she backhand slaps him.
Yeah.
And scratches him with all of her rings.
I love that.
And she like breaks her really super expensive heels on the way
Louboutin.
out.
That's what
And
broke my heart when she broke her heel, because it was like
I would have had a breakdown.
adding insult to injury. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, can this get any worse?
Yeah, and it does. It continues to
Yeah.
get worse. So she goes up to a diner. She sits down. She's like, I just need a safe place.
And I loved the workers at the diner because they weren't like, this is some crackhead that just walked
Yeah.
in off
Oh,
the
no,
streets.
they could
were
tell
like,
she needed
this
help.
girl needs help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then guess who ends up showing up at the diner?
Oh, he was already there, man. He was just enjoying his bowl of soup.
Yeah, of course.
I was like, Jay, what the fuck are you doing in this weird diner eating a bowl of soup? You're
so
way
random.
too hot to be sitting here eating a bowl of soup.
Maybe that's not where I need to go. I just need to go to random diners.
Yeah, find the guy.
And he was a
Man,
regular.
We ordered
so-
soup. That split pea soup.
Spit pea?
That's probably what it looks like.
Right, yeah, I
Mm,
hate
about that.
peas.
Peas are so gross.
They are.
But I don't know. I was kind of annoyed that she put up such a fight with him at that point because I was
Yeah.
like, girl,
I'd been like, I just broke my
You don't know
$1,400
anybody?
shoes. I'm
You don't know where-
bleeding.
yeah.
You just got out of an unsafe situation. Go with somebody that you actually know
Yeah.
and people know. So if anything happens, you have several people that you can
And there's
call.
no
Yeah.
way I'm waiting for a taxi
No.
ever in my life.
No, because what if old dude comes out of there
Yes.
and wants to pick a fight with me at a random diner? I'm shoeless.
Like you got in a car with Mike,
yeah.
but
You're
you're not
already a
going to
red
get
flag,
in
honey.
a car with Jay, who
He's a green fag.
goes to
Yes.
Mundier
Literally
with his
the
family all the
nicest guy
time,
ever.
and like, she's Louise,
And he's
lady.
a lawyer. I mean, maybe that's where her restraint was from. Like, he's a lawyer. He could do anything. But also, in the same way, he could help you out with the mic situation. And he does.
He does.
He does. He ends
Leading
up
into
helping her.
that.
Yeah. Let's go to the office.
Well, he
So-
does take her home.
He does.
Oh, I wanted
helped
to talk
her.
about
Go ahead.
this. So he was such a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
When he took her home, he went above and beyond. He wanted to make sure she got into her apartment safe. When he
Oh, yeah,
realized
this
how
part.
hurt she was,
Ran her a bath.
he like helped clean her. But there was so much more to that than just cleaning her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it kind of goes biblical,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with like Jesus washing the feet.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's more than just, oh, I'm cleaning your feet so you can go to bed because you don't want to go to bed with dirty feet. It's
Mhm.
like I'm showing
Serving.
you that I can be like give myself to you
I
Mhm.
loved him
completely.
from the beginning.
Oh,
Yeah.
Me too.
That was it right there. I'm like, okay, Leah, look around. What other man that you've known in your lifetime
Mm-hmm.
would willingly and like she didn't ask him to clean her feet.
No.
Like who
He-
would do that?
Yeah.
No one. So you're sitting here saying he's in it for all the wrong reasons, but really like who would do that?
No. Like, there is not a man in her life that has ever done anything close to what he does throughout the book. And it
Mhm.
takes her a minute to figure that out.
Even
She
the-
fights it.
The relationships that she's just observing. Her dad would not do that for her mom.
Never in a million years.
It kind of made me think of a part in Akatar where like these people might have a bond, they might have a relationship, but it's only really shown how much you care when you cook a meal for someone and give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Like if you make food and present it to the other person, like that's you saying, like I choose you.
Mm.
Well, that's adorable.
And I was like, that reminded me of the same thing. Kind of,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, like he's cleaning her feet. But at the same time, I was like, thank God. Like I hate going to bed with dirty feet.
Mm.
I would not go to bed with dirty feet.
I'll take a wipe and wipe it off.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't want somebody to touch my feet, though.
I would.
Fair.
Can you
Thank
imagine
you
how
for
nasty
offering.
her
Don't touch
feet
me.
were?
Right.
Ooh. But okay, so yeah, so then the next day she goes to work, and what happens? Mike shows up at her office, and she catches him bragging to his friends about how he stayed up with her and she did all this
She was
crazy
mad as
stuff.
Fire.
She's nasty, man.
Like, what is the point?
Yeah.
You know, in my head, you're like, okay, you had sex with this girl who everybody thinks is like skinky, right? Or you could just be like, I guess she's a prude. She didn't want to put out for me.
Yeah. Well, then that would have
just
been a
don't-
shot to
Yeah.
his masculinity that he couldn't get her to bed.
I guess
Yeah.
that's true.
Men
are so
have a
annoying.
fragile ego. Remember
God.
this. But Jay, so finally,
These guys are great, though.
Yeah.
Then we have the producer.
we have good ones. We got the two good ones in the world.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Sydney, I don't know what's out there for you. I'm
He's
sure
in a diner somewhere.
there might be one somewhere.
I'm raising a really good one right now.
Yeah. Well, when Jay stood up for her that was sexy as hell. Like he
Ooh.
found out what was going on, and he immediately like confronted Mike outside about it,
Yeah, he
and
did.
was like, the way she described him in this scene, I was like, hot damn, that man is fine.
I love a man threatening somebody for like my protection,
yeah.
but the fact that he's a lawyer and could bring the law into it, yes, sir. Thank
Yes,
you.
honey, you better work.
But
Literally.
I loved it.
And he made him get a bouquet of flowers for her.
Yeah.
Take it to her, not just send it.
And
Yeah.
grovel.
And grovel. And she was like, why the heck are you back here?
I told you never to walk in the house again.
Well,
Yeah.
I think later she ends up staying late for work.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, this was sweet.
he comes to find her because he's like, what the heck is going on? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? I was getting ready to leave and saw your car, so I went and grabbed food and came back. And
He's a good
So
guy,
nice.
man.
so I was freaking dying when I read the taco scene. Do you remember? This part was so funny. Let me find it.
I love tacos, man.
Me too.
Don't talk about food. My stomach has been growling this whole time.
I feel like in the last couple of books, there's been tacos so many times.
We love a taco, guys.
She said, are you not hungry? He asked, one eyebrow cocked as he dissected a taco with a fork and knife and took a bite. I gaped at him. What? You eat tacos with a fork and knife? He shrugged. How dare you? I whispered. I love that part. I was like cracking up
Especially
so hard.
because you're in Houston. Like, just grab it. Come on.
He's like so prissy that he has to eat his taco with a fork and knife. I thought that was funny.
And in Indian culture, you use your hands like for everything food wise. So
Yeah. And the sharing too kind of came into part of that. Like,
yeah.
I felt like that was part of the why she was so like, why aren't you sharing your food with me?
Right. My stomach just growled really loud. I don't know if the mic picked that up. But.
So Leah is falling for Jay because
Slowly
they're
but
spending a
surely.
lot of time together. They're hanging out. And I just loved her friends.
Me
Oh my
too.
gosh.
Like her group of girls were the best.
And they rallied behind her.
Yeah, they did.
Especially like at the end, not to jump too far ahead, but like with the situation after the wedding happened,
Mm-hmm.
and Preeti was like, I'm under girl code. I can't tell you where she's at.
Oh,
Like,
fuck girl code.
yeah. At that point, I would have been like, girl,
You know.
I'm letting him know.
You know where this is going.
It's
like-
for the best.
Yeah.
You didn't hear it from me, but
Yeah, no kidding.
After this all works out, you did hear it
Yeah.
from me. No.
But she was screwing things up with him.
Oh my god.
over and
This is
over
when-
and over
She
again.
And
was
this is about
annoying.
midway through the book. You're like,
yeah.
girl, if you don't get your life together.
I was getting so annoyed with her. I was like, either tell him that you're never ever gonna see him again, or
Yeah.
just be with him.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I thought was annoying was she kept saying like, you only want to be with me because you want to have sex with me. I was like, girl, this is a confident man.
Yeah.
Yes.
If that's all he wanted from you, you would know.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Or it would have happened already.
it wouldn't be a
Yes.
like he's not playing the long game here to get you in bed. Like
He
if
wouldn't
he
have tried so
wanted
hard.
that, he
No.
would have done it already.
Mhm.
Right. And there were so many places and times when he could have.
Mhm.
Well,
And he was just like, I want to get to know you.
yeah.
and
like,
that's
I don't want to have sex with you, girl.
Right.
He's
And
like,
through
oh
he
no, I
verbalized
do.
that.
He said, I do, but I
Yeah.
want to get to know you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at one of the last tabs was that she, the flowers, Mike sent the flowers and he was in charge of it. Like he
Mm-hmm.
orchestrated the whole thing.
Mhm.
And she's thinking, oh, he just wants in my pants. And then that's when he buys her the shoes
Mhm.
and
Oh,
she
she gets-
freaks out.
She sure
and
did.
she's mad. And then he says, you messed this up, Leah. We could have been good together. We could have had something real. And then it says, when I approached my front door, a box awaited me, the gift from Jay. And when I opened it, my anger erupted all over again. That's when she got the shoes.
Which I'm sorry. What? That's expensive.
Yeah.
I would literally have a heart attack and die on my front porch if I
Yeah.
opened that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have a hard time accepting that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of money. And he wasn't the reason that they broke.
Yeah.
But I can see in her head how she's like, anybody who's given me a gift expects something from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big gift. So
That's a
what are
big
you
one.
expecting from me?
Yeah.
But also, this man has shown you over and over and over again that he is nothing like anybody you know. And
Yeah.
he's so nice and generous and kind-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
Just get over yourself.
Yeah.
Well, and then she storms in on his family's dinner.
Yes. How
And
awkward.
her family or his family was so wonderful.
I
love
love
them.
them.
I said
They're
they
so funny
showed
and
their
nice.
love and support over and over and over in this book for each other. They are just there for each other. And I liked one of the quotes from his mom. I said, "Mama knows best." But see
She
what
really
she said.
did.
She had so
You
much
know
good
that
information.
Her and Jay's dad were like, they were so good together.
Solid couple.
Yeah. When after Leah and him had this big huge fight and she ran out of his house at the family dinner, Mom says, "Go get her." And he says, "But Ma, she's irrational. Who reacts like that at getting a gift? She broke her favorite shoes and I thought I'd be nice and replace them." And then that's when she's like, "Go, hurry before she leaves."
Yeah.
And then she says, "And invite her to dinner." I was like, she's so freaking cute. I love her. But I loved all of them. I feel like Jay was such a good guy.
Yeah.
He
He definitely had his flaws. Did you want to talk about the kind of going back to his history, right? Because he beats himself up about the situation about his
He
dad.
really does.
And I know it's like survivor's guilt, especially because towards the end you understand more of the bigger picture of it.
Yeah.
Because you know that feels so guilty about how his dad passed away, the situation
He's
around
definitely
it.
blaming himself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's kind of
Doesn't
all
say
you
why.
get at the beginning. Like, I
Yeah.
blame myself. My dad passed away. It was my fault.
Yeah.
But his brother, who was also in that situation, is like, I don't hate you.
Yeah.
I understand to an extent why you hate yourself, but I don't want you to do that because nobody blames you for this. Mom doesn't blame you for this. I don't blame you for this. Dad doesn't even blame you for this.
Yeah,
you know.
were a kid.
Yeah, you were like 7 or 8. Was he like 7 or 8? I think.
Yeah. He was little.
Little. That's like a first grader,
Yeah.
second grader, third grader.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Right, yeah.
Little guy.
And it just was eating him up, and we get a glimpse of kind of the grief part of that, where like the anniversary is dead. This is jumping way far, but
Well, he's also having nightmares
right,
about it. So
yeah. And it was sweet how their relationship grew out of that situation, because you kind of see some of her, you don't see some of her walls. A lot of her walls are breaking down at that point. And it just was like a very healing space for them to be a part of. And I love that Sajni has touched on all of these different aspects of a very much real part of life, grief. And, if somebody's been in an abusive relationship, like she touches on all those things in a very gentle way, but also like has these people deal with these situations in a very real way as well. And so I don't know. I feel like the last couple of books that we've read have been very intuitive, like just introspective.
There's a lot of growth in this book for sure. And then I really liked that not only is it just the characters, but also the community.
Yeah.
I think that's really good for this one.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the story.
The end.
So
it was a great book and we're done.
Well, yeah. So they basically start just like having these little dates, but not really calling them dates. And they're getting to know each other more, and they're really having a good time together, and yada yada yada. And I feel like she was basically like, you can't have me and your family. Like, she's like, you do realize that if you are with me, that everyone is going to associate your family with me, and they're going to put bad names on them and call them bad things. And, I'm going to bring everybody down, basically. And they're just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then they start fighting again and yada yada. And then we meet Mukesh's daughter, Kajal.
Which I get that she's like, oh yeah, this guy's hot and successful and I want to be married.
Mm-hmm.
But you're kind of being a snake about it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I literally put down that at first I felt bad for her because I was like, gosh, like she's kind of being thrown in the middle of it because I'm sure her dad is like encouraging her, like, hey, go here, you know? And she's like, okay. And then all of a sudden she's realizing, oh, this guy like is interested in somebody else. And now I'm in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get later on, you get that snake side of her that you're like,
embarrassing for her though.
Yeah.
If you're trying so hard to get this guy who you know does not want anything to do with you,
yeah, awkward.
just stop it.
You're gonna run into the I'm not interested every single time. Why put yourself through
Yes.
rejection constantly when you already know the answer?
Exactly.
Well, when Kajal went and was talking to him, Leah's friends ran up to him, to Jay, and they were like, no. You go away. We're done. You can go now.
I like that she was like, do you mind?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, we do. You need to go. We need to talk to him. And that's when they say, like, Jay, you need to go check on Leah because you broke her. Like, they're like, she's so sad because you guys almost had this moment and then.
He's like, I literally did nothing but be nice to her.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, in the moment, I believe it was when they were on the boat and she had said, would you stand up before the church and defend me?
Yeah.
Like, or would you stand by your family?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you can't ask people to choose between.
No.
That's not okay.
I wouldn't ask somebody to do that.
But then
No.
she took his non-answer as confirming that he wouldn't stand by her.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, that's a hard situation for anybody. And I mean, it works out in the end, but the fact that she took that, at least she didn't yell at him about it. It was what I was thinking. She was like, you know, I can't fault you for loving your family.
Yeah.
So,
which obviously.
Yeah. And then she dips out.
She does.
Well, then he finally goes and he's like, well, has she been to work? And they're like, yes. And he's like, okay, I'll go find her. So he checks in on her at the next day at work and she's there. And they resume their fighting and bickering. And then he like rubs in her face that he's going on a coffee date with Kajal. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going on a date with her.
Joker.
We'll be over here at this time. Why don't you come on by? And the whole time he said he was waiting for her to come. But
that
I was
a
like,
cute part.
that wasn't very nice, sir. But
I would have done the same thing in his shoes, though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But I said
I'm on a date. You see this? This is what you could be. This is what we could be.
I said he made up for it, and I just love how
he does.
his way with words. I said, or he said, I see so deep into you, Leah, that you can't hide yourself from me, even things you don't want me to see. I love every piece of beauty, every imperfection, and I can't get enough. And then he had one more good quote over here.
That man right there.
I know, right? She said, you talk like a man who has it bad. He says, I am a man who has it bad.
I highlighted that too.
Go Jay. Go Jay. Get it.
And then they're like official kind of.
Yeah.
And they're going on dates and whatnot. And then I liked the part at the bar where the guy was kind of hitting on her and she goes, oh, I'm waiting for my man.
Yeah. I was like, my man.
She like came around to that real fast.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. I was like, she kind of fought things, but she came around real fast and was all for it.
After about 50% of the book, it was fight,
Yeah.
pride. Okay, and I'm good.
Okay, fine. I guess I love you.
Yeah.
I liked their playful banter though.
Yeah.
I
Me
thought they
too.
had like the cutest relationship. And I said, I think that if they didn't have all the issues with Mandir, that they would have been together a lot sooner.
Oh,
Yeah, I would agree.
100%.
I
Like,
would agree.
These people that they're supposed to be building them and helping them grow into good people were actually the ones like tearing them down and keeping them apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's like, ugh. But Jay once again stands up for Leah and he's just the best. And
This guy.
this was when Mukesh was like trying to talk shit on.
Is that the wedding?
No, this is before that.
Oh,
This is the first
at
time.
the Mendir.
Yeah.
And
When
then he
he
says,
comes up to
Jay's
her.
like, go away, shut up, you don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
her. And
Yeah.
Ma even stood up for her.
Yeah.
And didn't care. And I just love that, how they accepted her so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I like he was like, "Don't talk to my mom."
Yeah.
He got in front.
Yeah.
He was like, my boy, the wrong woman. This is her. This is the wrong one.
So then we kind of fast forward. Jay's brother and his wife have their baby.
Yeah,
And
baby
she
Josh.
helps take pictures. They all have this wonderful moment. Everyone's crying. It's
When they're
beautiful.
holding the baby together.
Yeah.
I love that. So
Then it leads up to the anniversary of his father's death.
much. Oof.
And Jay asked Leah to go to Mandir with him and his family because they always go together on this day.
This part right
I
here.
was so upset.
Heated. I read this part last night.
I was so angry.
So did you read the whole book?
Yeah, I did. I finished it last night and then I started another book. I was up
Of
to
course.
I was up to like 3 last night.
Oh my gosh.
That's why
That's why
missed
you
all my
didn't get
alarms.
here at 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so Leah is on her way into
Mhm.
Mandir, and Mukesh stops her and is basically like, if you go in there, I'm going to tear you all to the ground. Like,
How can you tell somebody they're not allowed to come worship?
Literally.
What?
Literally.
And so he was like a highly respected elder and stuff.
Mhm.
Was he what would be equivalent to like a preacher?
Yeah, like the priest kind of
Okay,
guy.
that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure.
yeah.
Well, he sucked,
He did.
and obviously
He
he's not
shouldn't have
going to
been
heaven.
where in the position of power that he was given what
Yeah.
he had done.
He
Yeah.
said the most hateful, horrible things to her.
did.
Literally. I was like, in my head, I was like, girl, why aren't you recording every single conversation that you have with this man? Because this is
Yes.
something that you could use in the future. In my head, I was like, if I would have gone through this situation, I would have had my phone recorder on every single minute that I had to have a conversation or
I
a
would
word with
just
him.
Poison him.
Yeah. I'm gonna get the
Straight
law
up
involved.
murder. The law would be involved with me too.
For me, not for him.
Well, I was worried. My biggest thing was I was worried that Jay was going to be like super upset when she left, but he ends up seeing her leave.
Yeah.
And he like comes running after her. And
He
he's
was
like,
down bad.
He's like, oh, hey, where you want to go? He's like,
Yeah.
oh, no one else is here. They
Yeah.
decided to stay home.
Who cares?
So
Let's go.
yeah, let's go. And this is finally when they have their like moment. Like he starts telling her about his past, and
Yeah.
we figure out that his dad died in an apartment fire, and Jay feels responsible because he had been trying to cook for them, and he started the fire unintentionally. And then his dad was able to get both boys and trying to get them out of the house, and his foot fell through,
Mm-hmm.
and Jay turned around and tried to go back to his dad, but instead of his dad like taking his full focus to get his foot out, he used that time to push Jay away.
Yeah.
And he ended up sounds
Passing away.
like falling in and
Which
like
the
yeah.
thing
Yeah.
is, you can't just assume that he would have been able to get out
Yeah.
anyways. And he's putting so much blame on himself. And
Yeah.
that's just so sad to
Yeah.
live with that for, he said it was like the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 years of you just feeling guilty about taking your dad away.
Yeah.
God.
But she gave him so much good advice, and I was
Mhm.
like, girl, you need to take your own advice.
Girl,
Yeah,
let me
for
let me
real.
tell you.
Because we know that now we know that Leah was sexually assaulted
Mm-hmm.
by Mukesh when she
At
was a little girl.
15.
Yeah. And she
My
talked to her
God.
family about this,
They
and
didn't believe
no one
her.
believed her. Her
I-
dad said it was her fault.
I think
feel
her
like
mom did.
would have,
oh yeah.
but her dad is literally the worst person ever.
Yeah,
so.
is the devil. So.
Yeah.
And Mukesh is the devil.
Yeah. But at that point they decide like they're together.
Mhm.
He's serious about her. He wants to pursue. And he talks to his family, and everyone is just like, well, duh.
Finally.
Yeah. And then I was waiting. So at this point, the company, we like track back to the company,
Mhm.
and they're going under. Like they have all these lawsuits against them. Jay's trying to save them.
Yeah, what
Leah's
did
trying
y'all
to
do?
help in any way she can, and it's not working. They're
No.
going under. They're closing.
Mhm.
So Leah ends up getting a job offer from another company in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. And she's in Houston.
Houston.
Annoyed me.
Mm-hmm.
This was a whole big thing of like, I'm going to lose my entire life because I'm moving to Dallas for this job that I really want. That's like 3 hours, girl.
It's
Right.
not.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I
you
was
can
like,
see them every weekend.
Literally.
What
It's
do
a
you
cheap
mean?
flight.
I
Literally.
was so
Go to
annoyed.
left
well,
field.
and if anyone,
like
if
that. You're
anyone
good.
remembers, in the very beginning of the book, Jay talks about wanting to move to Dallas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you worried? I'm pretty sure he's gonna be okay with it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I really thought that he was gonna figure out about it
Beforehand.
before she was
Yeah.
able
Yeah.
to tell
That's
him.
what I thought too.
I was
Me
like,
too.
oh shit.
I thought he was gonna like hear a conversation between her and the
Mhm.
girls,
Yeah.
and that's how he was gonna, or he was gonna like read a message.
Yep.
And
she told them, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, what did Jay say?" And she's like, "That's funny because I haven't told him."
right.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been the first. That would have been the first person I said
As
something to.
soon as it was offered to me, or like they even wanted to interview me, I would be like, "Hey, so this is happening."
Yeah, these are my options. This is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have probably been like, okay, let's.
Because I know
She
he
didn't
was,
go about it the right way,
No,
No,
she
he was
didn't.
upset when he found out,
which I wasn't expecting.
but I don't think he would have been as upset if she would have told him before it was like
Well,
set in stone.
And the way she presented it too was like, I'm leaving.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna
you're
choose
not
a
a part
job
of
over
this
you.
decision.
Mhm.
Especially since they're now in a committed relationship.
Yeah,
You don't just make those. I mean, you can, but you're gonna. This
And
is
he
gonna
was
be
like,
the outcome.
Long distance isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, you could drive 3 hours every night and sleep together.
There you go. You just gonna wake
'Cause-
up real early.
But it's probably going to be more like 5 or 6 because Dallas traffic is a
Traffic.
fucking bitch.
As you know from just being
Yeah,
there.
I was just there. It's terrible. I hated it. I just kept saying I couldn't live like this every day. Like
20
it was
years.
awful.
Yeah,
20
it's
years.
still
This is
crazy
terrible.
down there.
I would never know.
I miss
Then
it,
it's
though.
wedding time.
Yay! Finally, I was waiting for this wedding.
I just wanted to say that I'm obsessed with the Indian traditions and
Me
culture
too.
of weddings. Like
Mhm.
Hindi weddings are
Gorgeous.
the most
Beautiful.
special,
this
beautiful things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I
I want to go to one.
I want
I've
to
been to
have
one.
Right.
Well, kind of one. It was not like full on,
Mm-hmm.
but it had a lot of like everyone had their beautiful saris on.
God, they're so gorgeous.
and I was just like, do you have an extra? Can I wear it?
Yeah.
like
I
want
wish
one.
that people just wear those every day here in America because
Right?
they're
They're so beautiful.
I don't know what the like the Chinese dresses are, the traditional ones. Those are
Mhm.
so pretty too. Why
Yeah.
don't we have clothes like that?
like a
We don't have
kimono.
traditional clothes.
Yeah. They're beautiful and I love them.
Yeah. That's one thing that I like about other cultures is they have traditions.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just white. We
We're
don't got
the-
shit. We
we're the
got
melting pot.
waffles.
They're like, do whatever you want.
Right.
We got waffles and chicken.
Is that American? Yeah, that's pretty American. Yeah.
I don't know. Adam just had chicken and waffles for breakfast yesterday. So I love it. It was so beautiful. They did their dance and I was just like, oh, I love this.
And this is when things hit the fan.
Yeah. So we get a little glimpse of like, oh, things might be okay. Leah sees Jay. He seems cool.
They
They
do a
kind
little
of have
touch.
this like unspoken
We need to
talk of like, we're okay. It's okay. Like,
Mhm.
we're going to talk later. It's going to be okay. And then Mukesh has to go and fuck everything up.
talk.
I said that
At
was
a wedding.
really ballsy of him to pull everybody aside during this beautiful celebration
You have
just
to
to
think so highly of yourself.
Literally.
Right?
And that you're so safe.
Yes.
just to shame Leah the way he did. I was like, who do you think you are?
And I'm with Preeti. I would have said, I will punch him in the throat
Mhm.
Well,
with
she
some
would've.
scalpels attached.
Yeah.
she would like Leah would have if her dad wasn't like right there.
I'd have punched my dad
when
too.
he punched, did he punch the mom in the arm when she was?
No,
I think he
like
slapped her.
grabbed her and it scratched her, right?
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
he slapped Leah.
He did.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I
I
forgot about
was
that.
like, okay, y'all are a slapping family. This is the second
Yeah.
situation in this film where y'all be slapping.
But
Okay.
when they were like talking about all of this, the dad actually spoke up and said, this is the truth.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's fucking not. And this entire scene was like blowing my mind. I said I would be in prison if anyone
100%.
touched
Jay was
my
on his way.
child. Like capital murder, prison.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be able to find body parts.
No.
For real.
Like, I was just baffled that her dad was like this. It just blew my mind.
And her mom wanted so bad to say something, and
Yeah.
he would not let her.
Yeah.
Mhm. But I said, Jay, I loved how he handled it, and I think that he was portrayed in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like when Leah ran off, he knew that she could handle herself,
Mm-hmm.
and that he knew there was more that he needed to handle in that room.
Oh, yeah.
Her mom,
You better say that, girl.
her mom was like literally a victim here as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew that like she needed help. His mom was still in the room. He's like, I'm not leaving my mom with these fuckers.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I need to make sure that these women that can't protect themselves are
Safe.
safe. And I'm
Mhm.
going to tell these dudes to fuck off.
Yeah.
Like,
And I got the
So-
law behind me.
And he did.
yeah.
He was all about like, I'm gonna find everything that you've ever done in your entire life, and I'm gonna bring it to light.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he turned to her dad
Uh-huh.
and said, if I like find out that you ever touched her,
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing you down too. And he's like, I don't have a daughter anymore. He
Mm-hmm.
says, I mean your wife. I was like,
Oh,
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Talk that talk.
Because he was like, oh no,
Mm.
I have been abusing her.
Yes.
Right.
That's
For years.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And when he took Mukesh by the collar and put him
Yes.
against the wall, I was like, you better fight for your girl in every way
Yeah.
possible. That
That was great.
Jay.
Somebody needs to just kill this man.
But Leah runs off.
We will.
And
here in a minute.
Jay is a little preoccupied,
Mm-hmm.
threatening everyone. And Leah immediately goes to Preeti's house or
Preeti
apartment.
wanted to leave anyways.
Yeah, they run
Mhm.
off together and they're like, "Hey, tell him make something up. We're leaving."
Uh-huh.
And Leah's like, "I'm going to Dallas like in the morning,
Yeah.
right now."
Yeah.
And Jay kind of fixes everything up with Mukesh and the dad and whatnot, and he's trying to find her. Everyone's trying to find her. Like Jay's whole family is looking for her.
Mm-hmm.
And finally they figure out that she went to Dallas, and I just loved how supportive his family was.
Ugh.
Like
Mm-hmm.
Shilpa,
Love her.
this is Jay's sister-in-law, said, "Be calm, but go get her." And I loved how supportive the mom was of her boys, because she
Uh-huh.
was just like, from the beginning, she was just great.
She really was.
And she made the best point. She said, "We need to stop him." She's like, we're gonna get to the bottom of this, because
Mhm.
my point from the beginning was, how many other girls has he done this to? Because men that do that do not just do it once.
No.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah.
not a single occurrence.
There's more people in the closet.
So he is hurting
so to
other
speak.
little girls.
I wish there was more of a like closure to that, where we
Mhm.
found out like other people spoke.
but
up
maybe
and
we do.
and maybe in Preeti's book.
that's true,
Yeah.
yeah.
But so she runs off to Dallas. He figures out where she's going. He's catching up to
He
her.
runs.
She's in the parking garage and her phone rings and it's him. And she gets out of the car and she's talking to him, and then she realizes someone else got out of the car, and I was laughing.
Me too.
When she couldn't figure it out that it was him. I was like, "Honey, put it together."
Come on.
Yeah, for real.
All the synapses need to be firing.
And then we find out, oh my gosh, it's him. And it
And they
was
kiss,
just
and they make
so
up.
perfect.
It's
But I did quote his
Oh, me too. I highlighted some stuff on this part.
I have his, what he said to her was just so beautiful. He said, there it is. "You're mine. I'm yours. We don't belong with anyone else. I don't stand in front of you or run after you. I walk alongside you. I will be damned if anything breaks us. Do you understand me?"
Mm-hmm.
I loved that.
Can
He
I
does
quote
run after
something
her a
too?
lot.
Yeah.
This is at the end too.
Uh-huh.
I'm so in love with you. You may never know the full extent of my devotion, but I promise to show it every day, and how I treat you not like a princess but a queen, not as my submissive other half but as my equal. I know you can take care of yourself, but should someone try to hurt you, they still have me to deal with. Not one day will go by without you feeling my love in action, words, or when we turn down the bed every night. And I was like,
Yes.
Yes. I think my last quote was when he ends up getting the little promise ring out.
that was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you will never be alone. This is our world and we're about to own it together.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the end. I was like, oh, that was beautiful.
It was a nice little bow.
Yeah. So should we do third date?
Yeah. I would consider this, I mean, it's closed door.
I would say
Mhm.
closed
but
door.
there's definitely a lot of
Tension.
tension
Uh-huh.
and kissing.
Mhm.
She definitely had lots of good points though. Like I don't know what it was about Jay buttoning his jacket with one hand.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ooh,
Ooh, I
Why is
love
that so
a-
hot?
I was like, damn, you handled that button really well.
Not gonna button.
Or him like rolling his sleeves up in the lab to help.
Uh-huh.
Even like every time he would just barely touch her,
Mm-hmm.
she definitely was like, okay, we need to.
Oh, you remember when she had that little cream cheese on the corner of her mouth and he like
Mhm.
wiped it off and he's
Mm.
like, she's like, you could have just told me. And he's like, what? And not got the chance to touch your lips?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. He has so much swagger
He does.
that I was like, that's the part that frustrated me so much was that she thought that he only wanted her for sex. And I'm like, girl, look at how smooth this man is. If that's what he wanted, he would take it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you wouldn't be wondering
And he'd
Right.
be
if
having
that's what
sex
he
with a bunch
wanted.
of
You would
people.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Like, but I was literally giggling when he licked the mustard off of her finger.
Yeah.
I was like a little girl. I was like, I don't know why that
Like, I
part
start
just got me.
blushing. I'm
I
like,
was like,
oh
oh
my
my
God.
god.
Yeah, there were several parts I was like, okay, like, what is happening, you guys?
Stop it.
When he picked her up and pushed her up against the wall
Mhm.
and held her up against the wall, and then later he took her shirt off, I was like, oh my god, it's happening, it's happening.
I like the part where he carried her on his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Her.
Uh-huh.
I like
That was
the
cute.
little intimacies.
Yeah. I think the last thing I had was I said guys with their fantasies, naked with heels.
Yep.
How he wanted
Always.
her with those heels on, but nothing else. Do you have any other ones? We're ready for Fuck, Marry, Kill.
I'm ready for F, Marry, Kill.
Let's
I'm
do
ready.
it.
Well, we
Who?
all know who we're killing.
Well, who would be
Yes.
F?
I said J.
I said John because why not?
I'm marrying John.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's not anybody besides.
I am always waiting for you to be like, do you remember that guy that was on the corner
I know,
that
I
they
know.
briefly mentioned for like 2
The
seconds?
security guard who walked Mike out.
Yeah. I'm always waiting for you to be so off the wall.
No, there wasn't like any side characters. I think it's just F and Mary J. He
Okay.
was a solid guy.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, go ahead.
I would marry Jay, but I'd F his brother
I would
just because I can. 'Cause it's
FJ,
pretend.
FJ marry John.
All right, and who are we killing, guys?
Mukesh, obvious.
Mukesh and the dad.
Actually, I said we're going to kill the dad and we're going to let Mukesh rot in jail.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
okay
good
with that. I'm okay with that. Agreed. Break.
We ready for speed date?
Oh wait, my BFF.
Oh,
yeah.
I picked 2, but it's because they're a couple. I picked Rima and Rohan.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I would say Shilpa.
She's great,
She's a good personality. Strong.
I like Preeti.
but I'm marrying her husband, so that's kind of weird.
Yeah. It wouldn't be your husband.
Do you want to do your speed date picks?
Yes, I do.
I
Okay.
was drooling at this.
I love it. This was hard for me because once I decided what I thought they looked like, my brain couldn't change it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for Leah, I called her Laya the whole book, so I had to switch that up. Leah, I picked Deepika Padukone. I want to say that's how you say her name.
Ooh.
Very nice.
I
Is
wanted her hair to be a little bit darker,
Uh-huh.
but it looks like it's lightened.
Uh-huh.
And that's her in a sari as
Beautiful.
Oh my
well. I
gosh.
just thought she's really pretty.
She's pretty.
You ready for my... Oh, that's her wedding.
Oh.
Does she not look like the happiest person in the entire world? I love it.
Look at
And
those
I love
colors.
her.
That's perfect.
I almost picked her husband too, just because like they're such a good match. But instead, for Jay, I picked Shahid Kapoor,
Oh.
who is a very handsome man.
Ooh, hello.
And
Yeah.
he wears like the suits, and he's pretty buff. So I thought that was a
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's like the Bollywood.
yeah. He is a Bollywood star.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Carly, who's your picks?
Okay, so I have Leah as Sonam Kapoor.
I almost picked her.
She's fierce.
She really
She
that.
is. Look at that.
She
That's
looks like the attitude of Leah.
But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
she has like in her other outfits, this is her wedding.
I
okay.
love their
Weddings.
Yeah.
Y'all better
That's
work.
funny we both said that.
Oh,
Isn't she gorgeous?
golly.
I
She's
just
so
love
pretty.
that so much. Their weddings are
Oh,
literally
yeah.
so beautiful.
This one's so cute. This picture of her smiling.
It's giving Mandir outfit.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love it. And
They're
then
so pretty.
oh yeah, there she is in her sexy outfit.
Ah.
Oh,
There we go.
She's got it all.
She's got it
Sexy
all.
but modest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for Jay, her
Oh,
wedding
my-
dress is freaking gorgeous.
Beautiful.
That really is so pretty.
Oh man.
She's so pretty.
And
I had a
love
lot of
the
pictures of her.
henna.
I just
Yeah.
kept saving them.
All right, let's go on to Jay. Let's go.
Okay, so Jay, I have a couple. It's the same guy, but he has a couple different looks. Like there's an earlier look and there's a like more current look. So his name is Vicky Kaushal. He is also an actor. But like
Woo!
that
Okay.
Yes. That's a
super
pretty good one.
handsome. But he has facial hair, and I don't remember them talking about Jay having
I'm
facial
okay with
hair.
Well, they
him
said
having
something
facial hair.
about his hair like tickling her neck at
Yeah.
one point, but I
So-
imagine it was like a little scruff.
Yeah. So there's like our facial hair and
Mm.
kind of shows the body because we
Mhm.
know he worked out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I have a suit version with no facial hair
Very
Mhm.
nice.
that gave me the same Jay feels. Like that. Tell me that's not a lawyer,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
a handsome lawyer,
You could
Mhm.
definitely see that.
buttoning his freaking jacket with one hand. Oh,
Oh, okay.
he is my pick. 100%.
That's a beautiful man.
He's so handsome.
Golly.
Very
Yep.
nice.
So those are my
Good picks, ladies.
picks.
Good picks.
I like him with facial hair and without.
I
So
like him more with the facial
And
hair.
a
I mean, that
lot-
picture just.
of men like are one or the other. This guy can pull off both.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
Very good. So smash or pass?
Smash.
I have some trivia too.
I said,
Oh.
oh
Unless
yeah.
you don't want to do it.
I said smash. Let's hear your trivia.
I'll smash too. And I want to read the next one.
Me too. I'm
Me
excited
too.
about the next
I
one.
put that on my
Okay.
thing.
I'll just do a little bit. Okay, what app did Leah's mom use to find suitors? It was the very
WhatsApp.
first page. Yep, WhatsApp.
What's that?
What car does Leah drive?
A
BMW?
Wrong.
Mercedes.
No,
She drove a nice car.
Audi.
a gray Lexus.
Yeah, we were
should've said
close.
Lexus.
What floor does Leah live on?
Tint.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Who was Preeti in love with?
Daniel.
Mm-hmm. What did Sana, is that how we decided to
Uh-huh.
say it, drink at the girls' night?
Lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where was Jay and Leah's first date?
Paintball or laser tag.
Yeah. Do you know what color her vest was?
Pink.
Yeah. What flavor gelato did Leah get?
Pistachio.
Uh-huh. What did the girls put on each seat at the wedding ceremony?
Was it the nuts? The nut sack? the
Say
bag
it
of
again
nuts.
for the
The
people.
bag of nuts.
What did you say? What was it called?
You know what I said.
Did you say nutsack?
Run it back. Run it back. Run it back.
That's correct. It was a nutsack.
Oh, that's
That
good.
was my questions. Thank you for ending that on such a high note.
That was great. So that brings us to Happily Ever After.
What's our next book,
What
ladies?
is our next book?
Well, I thought, what if we did a couch conversation?
Yay!
We've got
in a
some
long time.
we had got some questions that have been submitted,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been kept top secret so that you guys don't know them.
Oh no.
Shout out to Jacqueline.
Woohoo.
She sent in some quite a few questions. So
Oh god.
thought that would be fun. And yeah, we'll go from there.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Yay.
If you want to follow us on our socials, we are on IG. We're at Lovers Library Pod, and the same at for Facebook. We also have a Facebook group called the Lovers Library Book Club. We also have TikTok at lovers.library.po. We look forward to you hearing us the next time we're on the podcast, and thanks for letting us have a life and for giving us a tiny break. Welcome back to season 2. We'll see you next time.
Happily ever after.
Bye.